Well, good morning, everybody. It is Monday, September something. I don't even know what day it is, to tell you the truth. September 21st of 2020. What a year it has been. We're two-thirds of the way through. 9 out of 12. No, that's three quarters. Oh my goodness. Anyway, some amazing things have happened this year. And it's been crazy to think of what's coming up uh, as we turn into 2021. But the thing I really wanted to talk about today was the passing of uh, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Um, she was definitely not on the side of the political spectrum that I am. She definitely contributed to some case decisions that I was hoping would go the other way. But one thing that I learned in my life, she was on the bench almost my entire life. One of the things that I learned about her, though, is that she was very consistent. She did not waver. She did not stray from her convictions of what she thought the Constitution meant and what her job was as a Supreme Court justice. And that is commendable. And I wanted to celebrate her contribution to this country, whether you agree with her path, whether you agree with her direction or not. We need to celebrate people that exercise their freedoms. We need to celebrate people that exercise their um, expression of the First Amendment. Um, we would be at a very, very, very bad place that if we, on one side of the spectrum, whichever side you're on, constantly force the other side to shut up and conform to what we thought. That is not freedom of expression. That is not freedom of speech. That is not freedom of the press. That is oppression. That's actually fascism. And that is completely against what we're commanded to do in the Bible, and we're allowed to do and encouraged to do and protected to do by the U.S. Constitution. So I want to celebrate in in memorial um, what she stood for. Like I said, I didn't agree with most of what she said. When you look at her life, it was she lived according to what she believed. She was not a hypocrite. She was not two-faced. What she said on the bench is what she believed from the core, and I celebrate that. Um, other places, do your own research, see all the stuff that she accomplished. Very well accomplished, very well studied, very intelligent person, and I just want to celebrate her, um, even though it's post mortem. There are other people we need to celebrate too. People on our side, people on the other side, people on a different side that express their God-given rights and their constitutionally given rights, whether we agree with them or not. There is no reason that you and I can't disagree and still be friends. We do it all the time. We just don't talk about some of the things that we disagree on. And that is okay, but it's not good. What's good is to understand where the other person's coming from so that we can communicate at a much deeper level. We need to be able to have no interference in our communication so that I can love you fully. If there's something about you that I don't know, that you hold dear to your heart, and I believe something completely different, and we don't ever share that, I'm going to act as if you believe the same way I do about that thing. And when I act as if we believe the same and that hurts you, that's not loving. Is it not loving on my part because I didn't know, or is it not loving on your part because you didn't share? Yes, both. We need to openly communicate about those things so that we can either see that we can't agree because of whatever reason. We won't agree because we want to be stubborn with each other and enjoy that conflict that clarifies, or that you know what the actual truth is in the middle someplace, and we need to soften our stand so that we can closer to the truth. All of those are potential options. I think the worst possible options is you know what you like vanilla ice cream and I like black cherry ice cream. And so we can no longer be friends. Go away, never speak to me again. And if I see you on the streets, I will try to run you over. That's the worst possible scenario. And unfortunately, that seems to be where our country is headed by evil, divisive forces on the face of this earth and in the spiritual realms trying to destroy one of the last bastions of true freedom in the world. Um, So we just need to be aware of that. We need to love on each other. Things in Washington will not change unless we as a people change. They will continue to pander to their constituents, if they see their constituents um, enjoying the divide and relishing and being energized by the divide, they're going to do that because they want to be in power. They want to represent that. If they see communities coming together and not putting up with that crap and not putting up with that asinine behavior, the leaders will start saying, okay, well, to keep the vote and keep my job, I need to kowtow and pander to that aspect. So it really does start at home. It really does start in our neighborhoods. It really does start in our communities, in our towns, or cities, or states, or counties, or states, and that will infect and affect the entire nation. Having us all agree on the same thing is really only shows us that only one of us is necessary, and that's not the case. If you know me by now, you know I'm a biblical believer. I believe what the Bible says. And in Genesis chapter 1, as God's going through the creation on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5, at the end, he looks back and he makes a declare. He makes a decree that was good. In the middle of day 6, when man was created, according to Genesis chapter 1, he looks around and he tells Adam to name all the animals and do all this stuff. And he says, did you find somebody that was, capable of being your companion? And the answer was no. And God said, this is not good. It's not good that man is alone. Then he created Eve. And at the end of that day, God didn't just say it was good. He said it was very good. It was complete. It was according to plan, as he intended from the beginning, before the beginning. So we were created to have companionship. We were created to be social beings. We were created to have this incompleteness, if you will. It can only be completed by other people, by other persons. And then you look throughout the entirety of all the wisdom literature, and the majority of it is how do we deal with other people? And that is where we need to focus now. We need to focus on what can I do to be a better person? And how can I show my love for you by giving up what I care about to make you a better person, to help you? How can I give of my abundance and the blessings that are flowing my way in this cycle of life to benefit you, to help you, to propel you to the next step with no expectation of return? And then how can we go about living this way in our society, in our communities, in our counties, in our states, in our nation? That's what we need to focus on. Let's focus on what we have in common rather than what we have different. Yeah, there's been a lot of hurt because of our differences, no doubt. And almost anything you can come up with, there's more to the story than any of us know. And that's why communicating from a position of love is important. We need to recognize the hurt. We need to examine it. We need to rebuke the part that's not correctly. And then we need to dance with the hurt that is true and find a way to resolve it and reconcile it and to restore proper relationships. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today. If you didn't catch where chiropractic has a good analogy for what's going on here, your brain is in control of your body. If it's not communicating clearly to the other parts of the body and not hearing clearly back from those parts of the body, it can't manage those parts well. And when those parts are in miscommunication or discommunication, disharmony, dis-ease, they are at war with each other. They will find things to fight about. And that's when bad things happen in your body. That's when bad things happen in your brain. That's when bad things happen in your systems where they start fighting each other. We don't need that. We need to clear up the communication and remove the interference so that they can talk like they're supposed to. I know I'm being anthropomorphic, but it's a good analogy, and that's what I do. Well, not make good analogies, but I try to anyway. Anyway, I'm Dr. Hoskins. You're watching this on one of my channels, and I appreciate that. If you have a need for a chiropractor in the upstate, which means that you live in the upstate, I'd be more than happy to take care of you. We're at the corner of 292 and Route 9 in beautiful Inman, South Carolina. If you're not in the area and don't want to make the commute, let me know. You need to have a chiropractor on your team. There's no debate about that. You can disagree with me, but you can also choose to be wrong. I still love you anyway. We still have coffee, and that's great. But you need to have a chiropractor on your team. And if you don't have one, let me know. I'll find you one. I'll find one in your area that'll take really good care of you. If you're a chiropractor, you probably don't practice the same way I do. And even if you do, probably still do things a little bit different. Doesn't mean we have to be enemies. Just means we need to find common ground to go forward and propel this profession to the next stage. And then come to some sort of agreement on what that next stage is. And that's where the struggle is. And that's where we can struggle together to find it rather than struggle against each other and destroy it. Anyway, have a good one. PureCowerNow.com, DocHoskins.com, 864-715-2225. Love y'all. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.